Hello everybody, this is part 3 of my Studying Geology series, or Geology as a Career series. In this video I'm going to explain how exactly you should go about getting into graduate school. Right off the bat, before you go to graduate school, you need to know what type of geologist you're planning to become. Are you going to become an oil and gas geologist? Are you going to go into the environmental route? Are you going academic? What type of geology interests you the most, and what are you striving to get to? And you need to understand that first and foremost. Don't go about applying to grad school until you understand where you sit, as far as that is concerned. The second thing I'll say, and it's probably super obvious and I get that, but if you've done everything in my part 2 of the video, you'll probably already have done this, but it's important for you to get good grades in your undergraduate degree. And that means that most graduate schools do not accept anyone with a 3.0 or below. So you've got to have above a 3.0 average GPA to be able to get into grad school in the first place. So strive for that, but certainly, of course, strive for higher. The third thing you need to do is go take the GRE. If you don't know what that is, go check it out. But it's a standardized test that gets you a certain score, and based on your score, you're more or less likely to get into graduate school. It is something that most programs require, depending on which program you're going in, of course. If you're going into, like a law career, then you're going to have to take something completely different. But GRE is for a lot of different career fields. So get ready for that. Take a prep course if you need to. Take a refresher, study hard, go in there and get a good score on that. While you're doing these first 3 things, you should always really be thinking about who you would like to work with. Who have you read about as you've done your studying? Who do you know that's at the forefront of your research? Who do your professors know that would be good in this field? Who has a good reputation for good research? Who has a bad reputation for research? These are things that you're going to want to know, so talk to your professors, talk to other people you know, call around different schools, see whoever you can get in touch with, and that is going to help you the most. Talk to professors. Don't just apply blindly to a school, but know who the professor is at that school that you want to work with. The 5th thing you need to be doing is just applying to lots of schools. Apply, apply, apply. The more schools you apply to, the more likely you're going to get funding, the more likely you're going to get in to study with the professor that you want to study with, and the more likely you're going to get into a good school. So I would just encourage you to apply a ton and watch for those deadlines. I made the mistake of going into graduate school. I applied for the one school that still had a deadline open. Luckily, I got in and everything was okay, and it actually ended up being a wonderful experience. Not the way I would recommend going, though. Pay attention to deadlines, know when you need to have your applications in, and send a bunch of them. Save your money so you have cash to pay for those applications as well. Once you've submitted your applications, make sure that you also find out who are the decision makers at your school. Who are the people that are really going to decide whether or not you get in, whether or not you get funding at the school, a funded position. That is an important thing to know. And these are the people you should be talking to. Help them to know who you are. As they're going through applications and they have some sort of memory associated with you, or they know who you are much more likely to get a position that is paid and to get into that school in the first place. Keep that in mind. It's important. The 7th and final thing I'm going to tell you to do is try to find related work the summer before you go to graduate school. So usually you're going to graduate in April or May, and then you'll start up graduate school in August or September. So in that interim, in that summer time, try to find work that is related to the field that you'll be going into. Find a professor that you can do some field work with. Maybe there's a master's student that's working on something with that professor already, and you can go ahead and work with them, get some experience in the field. Maybe you're lucky enough to know exactly who you're working with, what your project is going to be, and you could spend that summer actually getting a head start on your thesis research. That's not a bad idea either. But do something that's relevant to your geology career that summer. Don't let it go wasted. Do something relevant. If you're going into oil and gas, one thing I highly recommend, don't even bother with an internship for that summer. Not that that's going to hurt you, but the thing that I would recommend the most that a lot of people completely overlook is get a mud logging position. Become a mud logger for a summer. It's going to get you experience at the well site. It's going to help you know what you're looking for that's coming out of a well. That is very, very important information, and it is going to go a long way when recruiters start knocking on your door, or when you start knocking on a recruiter's door. They're going to see that you were a mudlogger, and they're going to know you know what it's like at a well site. You know what safety is like. You know what the rocks look like as they're coming out of the ground. They're going to trust you, and find something related to whatever you're going to be studying. It doesn't have to be oil and gas. I keep saying that, but that's because it's kind of a common path for people to take. But whatever you're going to be studying, find something related and do that thing in those few months leading up to grad school. So those were my 7 tips for you, and I just want to give you a reminder: do not go to graduate school if you don't have funding. There's no reason you should go to graduate school unfunded. No reason at all. There's plenty of funding in the sciences. If people are doing research, it's because that research is funded somehow. They're not paying out of pocket. So if that research is funded, that means the people that do that research can get paid to do that research. In that way, it is a great, great thing to study geology or other scientific fields, because often you're going to get that funding. So please don't go to graduate school unless you are funded. If you're not, put it off for a year until you can find a funded position, because it's not worth it unless you can cash flow it or something. Sure, that's fine, but it's not worth it for you to take out student loans. Do not do that. Go find a funded position. Apply to lots of schools and don't take no for an answer. Make sure you do that. Anyway, I hope this video is helpful to you. Let me know what you guys think. Comment below if I missed anything, or if you have any further questions. Please give the video a like. That'll really help me. And don't forget to subscribe to GeoNow.